Welcome back, race fans. We've got some more Thursday night action in store for you this evening here at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. It's round 2 of 3 of the 280 Truck Series playoffs, and qualifying is just wrapped up. We're getting ready to grid up and roll out here in the state where everything is bigger, Texas. Leading off tonight, we're going to go ahead and get the qualifying results up for you in just a moment once our session switches over. But first, let's take a look at the points going into tonight. It is, of course, round 2 of 3 of the playoffs. Tonight is the cutoff night. 2 of these drivers will be eliminated, taking us down from 6 to just 4 drivers for our championship race next week. Let's pop on over to the points. On top of the board, still that 97 of Kyle Nadeau, followed by Zach Miller, who gains a spot over Crank Bell, who's had that second spot almost all season. Still very close for the top, with just 6 and 9 points behind, respectively. Sean Sullivan gained last week on Jeff Dotson and Greg Burchett. Those two with some ground to make up this week, but not much ground. As you see, the split is just 10 points from 4th to 6th. That's easily made up in this race if you have a good race, and hate to wish it upon other people, but possibly some misfortune for other drivers as well. That is what we are looking at coming into the race. A couple gainers down below our playoff standings. Zach Laugan up to the top of the rest of the field. Randall Peasley gaining the spot last week at Nashville as well. Dan Jensen loses a couple on the 29 after not being there last week. But Doug Argerbright, last week's winner, up 3 spots, sharing 10th position with Spencer Smith with 250 points apiece, followed by Aaron Mack bringing up the final spot in our top 12 in that number 5 machine. Well, happy hour is underway. Drivers are on track. We'll get these qualifying results on screen for you in just a moment. There we go. All right. Let's make sure we can get up to... There we go. All right, top of the boards for qualifying. TJ Hanley, just a second race in the series so far. Late joiner for the season. Finally able to make a race. That number 08 is going to start at the top of the board, followed by Kyle Nadeau in the number 97. No surprise seeing pace out of him. Cody Schultz in the number 30, making another appearance in the 280 Truck Series, followed by Gary Smith. You remember from last week, if you were here with us, Gary led probably the first third of the race, had a lot of speed in that number 83, but unfortunately found some misfortune after pit stops, and unfortunately ended up out of the race toward the end. Devin Maines in that 5, showing speed in that 5 U.S. Army Esports truck. Crank Bell in the 14, looking to maybe take that second spot back with a strong start here in 6th position. Josh Emerson, big improvements every week. We see the 73 up in the front more and more consistently, just making big gains, has showed growth all throughout the season. Good to see him up there in the 7th spot. Ed Salz is going to start 8th in the 51 machine. Justin Bissett, also a bit of an up-and-coming driver, has been showing improvement throughout the entire season. Expect to see him fighting for a top 5 position throughout the day. Sean Sullivan, the Puddle Jumpers number 2, going to start 10th. Jeff Dotson's going to roll off 11th with Barry Knapp to his outside. Aaron Mack 13th. Greg Burchett 14th. Zach Miller, your lead coordinator, is going to start 15th. Spencer Smith 16th. Randall Peasley 17th. 18th is going to be Nick Rossi. And that does it for... Oh, that does not do it. I'm clicking the wrong button. There we go. It's the rest of our field. 19th is Brendan Odell, and 20 is Jay Monin. That is how it will roll off today. Once again, happy hour underway. Just a few seconds left, and we will grid up for the start of today's race. Once again, it is a cut-off race. What does that mean? That means our playoff field of 6 drivers is going to be cut down to just 4 for our championship race next weekend. And we're going to have a good time next weekend, settle in who is the fastest driver here in the inaugural season of the 280 Truck Series. Been a great season with great racing so far. A lot of good drivers in here. Widespread of talents and a lot of talent joining us late in the season, just spicing things up as we went along. Hate to see it coming to a close, but makes me look forward to next season. We got bigger and better things in store for our next season. Can't wait to share all that with you once all that's finalized and ready to go. An improvement for next week is our championship race will be at Homestead, right back here on Faster Horses Media, 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursday night. That race, our championship race, is going to be sponsored graciously by American Legion Outpost. Post 23, sorry. Randall Peasley, a member of that post, so thank you so much for him for organizing that. We'll definitely have some more information for you during the race next week, but for now, we're getting gridded up and ready to go. That 08 looking sharp out front in that TH Designs Silverado. Going to be a hot race today. Once again, just like Nashville last week, Texas. This is Legacy, Texas, not the repave, so this track really rough and gritty. Going to be hard on the tires all throughout the night. Expect to see that come into play from start to finish in this race. It's going to be managing the heating in your tires. If you're going to make a pass, you've got to do it quickly and efficiently. Can't spend too much time scrubbing the meat off those tires because it will punish you over the long run. And being a mile-and-a-half track, we do expect to have some long runs, so that won't be out of the question at all. But, again, being so loose, might see some wrecks here and there. That would not surprise me in the least. Take you through the field real quick. We got TJ Hanley. He's going to start pole position. Again, second race and starting on pole. Great speed out of the 08 so far. Had a good recovery from a lap down last week to finish inside the top 10. So good drive out of TJ. Going to be your points leader, Kyle Nadeau in the 97 to his outside, starting P2. P3 is going to be Cody Schultz in the number 30 with Gary Smith in the 83 to his outside. Devin Main's going to roll off P5. Frank Bell rolling off P6 to his outside. It's championship contenders all throughout the field. Ed Sal's. That's not right. Give me a second. No, it's going to be the Josh Emerson. Following him up, and green flag already. The 08 out to an early lead, but the 97 pushing hard on the outside. Down into turn 1 they go. Momentum favoring the 97 to the outside. We'll see if he can complete the pass off the corner. A little bit loose there. Has the 83 all under the wing of his Silverado. Still side by side through 3 and 4. A little bit of the apron for the 08. Washes up just a little bit. So does the 97. Big wiggle in the back. That looks like Ed Sounds in the 51 going to get a piece of the catch fence off of 4. Hanley's going to maintain that lead for now. Kyle Nadeau in second, going to slot in line. We see the 83, Gary Smith, going to the inside of the 97 for P2. Sails it down into 3 and 4. He's going to complete the pass. Move Gary Smith up to P2. A bit of a slow start for the 97, but he knows the value of tires. Probably not going to push too hard early race. Definitely wouldn't mind clean air for sure, but not pushing overly hard, racing these guys side by side for several laps at a time is probably a smart move in the early running. Preserve that equipment, preserve those tires. Frank Bell's teammate right behind him in 4th place. Cody Schultz all over the back of that 14, looking to make up some ground. Sean and the 2 running a bit of a different paint scheme this week. Trading the Coast Guard colors for TH Design's blue paint scheme on that Ford F-150, looking good. Devin Main's already in race management mode, just leading this single file pack behind, taking care of the equipment. Work his way up as he sees fit. Two big movers right off the bat. That's number 56 here. And number 22 immediately behind them. Both of them up 5 spots from the start of the race here on lap number 6. Spencer working his way to the inside of Jeff Dotson, that number 3, one of your championship contenders as they enter 3. A nose inside, drawing even mid-corner. Dotson running a risk of getting up in the marbles to 3 and 4. Holds it together, though, nicely. Back up front, we thought he was taking a break, but not anymore. He and his teammate both worked their way by that number 83. 83 falling back. It's going to be the 97 and the 14, second and third, going after that number 08 of TJ Hanley out front. Really close to getting a piece of that outside wall off of 2 is Nadeau. Bit of a moment there, gathers it up nicely, holds that second spot firmly. We got 3 championship contenders showing strong up here. Nadeau, Bell, and Sullivan, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place in early running. Sullivan with a mirror full of that 83 Boone tractor machine, working his way around, trying to pick up that 4th spot. After what I can only assume was some trouble early on. That 83 losing a couple spots. Just a few short laps ago. Seems to still have pace in the truck, though. Is on the attack once again. You see Cody Schultz follows him through in the 30. Bit of a rough start for some of our other championship contenders. Greg Burchett down a few spots, and we see some right front damage on that truck. Not looking great so far for the 031. We'll see if we can pick it up throughout the rest of the race. A long way to go. We got 115 laps here in Fort Worth. Just a few spots ahead of him. Also down a couple spots from the start is number 38 is Zach Miller. Sitting 2nd in points going into this race. So far, seems to be struggling with a little bit of pace in that number 38 Toyota. We'll see if he can pick it up as well. Up the road, making up a couple spots already. Up cracking the top 10 is that number 3 of Jeff Dotson. Dotson in the WestVirginiaCoal.com F-150 starting to make progress up toward the field. hanging tight with the 56 and the 442 ahead of him. They've been kind of a threesome so far throughout this race. Working their way up steadily together. All three of those drivers up a few spots since the drop of the green flag. Just behind Josh Emerson, looking to work on the 22 of Nick Rossi. Gonna look to the inside as they come through the tri-oval section of the track. Even through 1 and 2, advantage of 73 so far. Nearly clears. They're looking for an accident here. Cleared himself on the 22 and got a piece of that left front fender in the process. Really lucky Nick cut him a break there. That could have been ugly. Good to see everyone chatting tonight. Hope you are enjoying the action. The trouble for the 82 just behind is, you see the 031 in the fence. Greg Burchett up in the wall. Looks like maybe a flat right front. Looks like he really couldn't get that truck turned down the racetrack for a minute. I think he might drop the pit road here. No, he elects to keep going. Definitely some damage. You see some some toe out on that right front. That's not the direction you want that wheel to be pointing on a race car that is supposed to turn left. Back up front, we got a swap of positions for P2. Crank Bell takes over the position from his teammate Nadeau in the 97. He's up 4 spots on the day so far. He's cutting into that lead, just 3/4 of a second behind TJ Hanley now, down from 1.2. Big moment there. Big big tank slapper off of 2. Has not taken long for tires to start to play a factor in this race. See the rear end of these trucks, pretty lightweight, not quite as much weight over the rear axle as some other stock cars, such as the Cup Series cars. They're the Xfinity cars. Very light in the rear end, as it is in these trucks. So when you get burnt up right rear tire, as is easy to do here in Texas, as we see the same thing this lap, barely keeps it off the wall. Hang on to it. Crank Bell going for a ride. 97's going to shoot it to the inside through 3 and 4. Easily going to make that pass. You know, the marble's definitely not going to help there either. Apologies if that was commentator's curse there. Just absolutely hanging it out off the corners. Completely sideways for that 14. Tell you what, let's take a ride along with Crank Bell and see what he's seeing inside the cockpit. Down through 1 and 2 now. Let's watch those hands as he comes off of comes off the corner. See where he's gotten loose 2 laps in a row. Keeps it pretty much in check that time. Not too bad. Definitely can hear that tire rub. You can hear that squealing of the tires, that groaning of the tires as they scrub off more and more material on this abrasive old legacy version of Texas Motor Speedway. Looking up front, battle's heating up for the lead. Side by side, Nadeau's going to try to get it done on the outside. A little bit of a wiggle. Going to give up a little momentum, but can he make it happen down the front stretch? Side by side, dead even across the stripe. Momentum favoring the 97. Does he have the tires to make it happen around the outside? Cutting down just a little bit, trying to keep tidy off of 1 and 2. Very, very close to not clearing, but he makes the pass. Kyle Nadeau, the 97 to the lead. Back around 10th position. The battle is on here between the 73, Josh Emerson, the 2, Sean Sullivan. Washing up the racetrack a little bit. 3 and 4 for Sullivan. Going to lose a little bit of position there, but gets the momentum on the high side. Great racing so far here at Texas. We see multiple grooves coming into play. Passes happening high, passes happening down low. It's always good for drivers to have options. Makes it far more entertaining as a viewer for sure. A little out of shape there for the 73 up high as he comes off turn 4. He's going to lose some momentum and 3 spots in the process. Sullivan leading Barry Knapp and Aaron Mack. Mack, one we haven't talked about so far today. He's up 3 spots from his 13th place starting position. Currently occupies the last spot in the top 10. Mack playing Vulture right now, trying to figure out who's going to have the momentum advantage in front of him and try to follow whoever has that advantage through and make that pass. Down to the inside of Sullivan in the 2 now. It's the 31 of Aaron Mack. Going for that 9th spot now. Citizen Soldier number 31 looking great as always. Side by side down the back stretch. Advantage Sullivan through 3 and 4. Aaron trying to hold it to the inside. Washed up a little bit. As we see mid-corner, that usually means big speed off the corner. Expect that 2 to come right back, charging next to the 31. Yeah, and he will. Aaron has it for now, but expect that 2 to be strong on the outside. Big momentum, big runs can be had on that outside lane if you have the tires to hang on to it. Did his best, but he's going to have to yield that spot to the 31. First pit stop of the day starting. TJ Hanley pits from P2. Here on lap number 29. Take a note of that for later. Expecting our fuel and tires to go somewhere between 30 to 36 laps here at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm sure these drivers would much rather pit a little sooner today. With as hot and slick as it is out here in Texas, these race cars are a handful to hold on to. Expect to start seeing more. You see Brendan O'Dell, Gary Smith also come down the pit lane. Out front, still Kyle Nadeau in the 97. Leading the way in points and on the racetrack. Of note, looking down the leaderboard currently, looks like Ed Sal is going to be out with terminal damage on that race truck. Unfortunate result early on for the 51, who always has good speed and always a threat for a top 5 finish. The game is a little bit different today. It's not Texas Hold'em, it's Texas Hold On to them, because these drivers with an absolute handful right now on old tires. And low fuel, which means that back end we mentioned earlier is already light enough on these race trucks. It's even lighter once you got 14 less gallons of fuel in it. Big lead right now for Kyle Nadeau, out to 3 seconds. That gap back to P2. You can see his teammate in 14 just now coming off for turn 2. Nearly a full straightaway lead for Nadeau early on. Looking back now, P4, Devin Maines starting to charge up to the number 30, Cody Schultz, for that 4th spot. Looking inside, he's going to get position. Nose to the inside for Maines, going to turn 1. Caution is out on the racetrack. Looks like that's going to be for the number 73. Go back and take a look at that real quick. Not sure if he had help, but just gets absolutely sideways off of 4. Josh Emerson going for a ride. Gathers it up, no contact with the wall, keeps going though. Great bit of drive in there to get that truck pointed in the right direction. He'll throw 4 fresh Goodyears and some fuel in that truck and be just fine. Out front now, getting ready for pit stops. Leaders are going to come down pit lane. Doe followed by Maines, Schultz, Bassett, Knapp, Mack, Miller, Dotson. Well, got your pit timer up on the leaderboard. We'll see who can manage to get a fast stop. Hitting your mark, centering that truck in the box is the best way to gain spots here on pit lane. And Maines gonna leapfrog Nadeau for the lead. 1/10 faster on the stop and got a absolutely explosive launch out of the pit box. Everything behind them looking pretty uniform. A big gain for the 5. He's going to control the restart from the lead. And we'll get to see what the lane preference is. This will be the driver's first taste of a restart, so we'll have to see how this goes, what line they prefer. Wave around cars are going to go by the pace car and get their lap back. Few drivers temporarily trapped a lap down after coming down pit lane under green flag at the time of caution. No problem for them, though. They're going to come back around, get that lap back, and we'll be right back in the mix. A little bit of loss of track position, though. Unfortunate for the 14, who was up inside the top 3. He's going to lose quite a bit of track position and have to start from the tail end of the lead lap. Flawless execution of pit stop for that number 5, Devin Maines. The little things add up, and in this instance, that got him the lead. Base truck gonna come off. Getting ready to go green once again. Flagman chopping wood with the flag here at Texas. They're underway again. Maines with a great launch, out front by half a second already. Battle now for his second. Cody Schulten has it. The number 97 of Nadeau wants it. We'll see what Nadeau does on this restart. We saw him in the beginning of the race, was a little slow starting off. Took him a bit to get going again. Didn't push those tires too early. Kind of let the truck ease in. Looks like that battle pretty much settled for now. Jumping back to the battle for 5th, we got Zach Miller going after the 442 of Bissett. Bissett taking that high line through 1 and 2. Gonna get that momentum, maybe pull a little bit of a gap on the 38. And he does. He's gonna hold that spot for now. It's like Miller might have a slight advantage in the corners, but that 42's got the draft of the 442, has the draft of the 42 and is able to maintain that lead down the straights. Looks like some big gains for Miller on that pit cycle. Also pit on lap 35 with everyone else, but is up quite a few spots from earlier as we see him tucked to the inside of the 442. Looking for that top 5 position for the first time today. Easily going to clear now. It's going to be Aaron Mack following him through. Going to be a couple spots lost for the best set in the 442, sorry. Great bit of racing. It is a log jam behind them. Look at this. Mack, Peasley, Bissett, Smith, side by side for 4 rows deep. It is an absolute dogfight for 10th. Some faster trucks behind them. Remember, some of these guys pitted at the time of caution. They got trapped lap down. They're looking to make up some track position at this point because they lost quite a bit of it. 31 and back, making moves now. Move him up to P6. Handley, remember Handley pit from 2nd position before the caution. Mired all the way down at 8th at the moment. Teammate Smith in the 83 just behind. $14 to Crank Bell, looking for any way through this melee. Bell, of course, one of the playoff contenders. He needs to make up some track position because at 38 that he's chasing for 2nd in points currently, he's up there with clean air. Meanwhile, Bell's got a side-by-side battle in front of him that just will not seem to end. Going down the order of playoff drivers, see Jeff Dotson a few spots back. He's hanging out in the number 12 position as it stands right now, with Sean Sullivan immediately behind him in the 2. He's looking to the outside of the 3 as they go through 3 and 4. High entry, cutting down, getting that momentum off the corner. Going to look to the inside, possibly. Dotson cuts down a little bit, potentially blocking off the 2. 2's not quite going to get a nose inside. 82 in the fence behind them. Battle wages on, however. Sullivan looking for the outside of the 3, still not quite able to get there. This will be the battle to keep an eye on, because this potentially could determine who gets cut between the 2 and the 3 as they run right now. The loser of this particular battle at the end of the race would be cut from the championship 4. Greg Burchett already several laps behind, not expected to make that championship 4. Unfortunately. The big moment there for Dotson. That's going to give Sullivan that spot. Dotson losing quite a bit of track position. He's nearly a second back now. Jumping ahead a few spots, Crank Bell making up a few positions. Now working to the inside of Miller for 6th. Three wide now, tight through 3 and 4. The 83. Gary Smith gonna shoot it up the middle. Miller thinking better of trying to prolong that battle. He backs off. Preserves the right front of that Toyota. Crank Bell now doing battle with the 83 for 5th. Sorry, yeah, for 5th. Up front, it's actually Cody Schultz. That number 30 worked his way past. Now it's a half a second lead over Kyle Nadeau. TJ Hanley working 3rd spot. That number 5 wants it, though. Side by side for a couple laps at this point. Devin Maines to the inside. Hanley to the outside. Looks like the 14 of Bell. He's made it past the 83, and he's going to make it 3 wide. Thinks about it for sure. Stuck a nose in. Showed a nose. Maybe trying to get in the head of that number 5. Big wiggle off the corner there for the 14. Hard charging, using those tires up, trying to make up that track position. He's looking to keep going, though. Still side by side through 1 and 2 for the 08 and the 5. Hanley really sideways off of 2. Maine's giving him plenty of space. Doesn't want to end his race prematurely. He's going to put the slide. He's going to slide up in front of that 08 and claim that's 3rd spot. Claim it he does. Now the 08 of Hanley falling under fire from Crank Bell. Bell to the inside. Side by side through 1 and 2. 83 watching to see who gets the momentum off the corner. He's going to slot in behind Bell. Bell going to clear Hanley before 3 and 4. Down the back stretch they go. Diving into 3. 83 going to be the next car to look to the inside of the 08. They are teammates. Looks like the 83 is going to cut Hanley a little bit of a break. Let him get down to that bottom line. Gather that truck back up and keep going. Still an absolute logjam from 7th spot on back. This group has been very tight since the drop of the green flag on that restart back on lap 35. The 83 of Smith looks like he might clear Hanley for that 5th spot. Yep, he's going to do it. Hanley looking like the right rear of that truck is suffering. Loose off of nearly every corner. Side by side now with the 42 of Knapp. Ooh, big piece of the fence there for Hanley. Now Aaron Mack spinning to the inside. Caution is out on the racetrack. Saw that one live. We're going to go back and take a look at what happened anyway. That 31 got massively out of shape after contact with the outside wall from the 08, I believe it was. Let's go back and try to take a look at this. Tight group of cars here battling for about 6th to 10th. Take a look at the slow motion at what happened, because it looked like it kicked off at the exit of turn 2 here, coming out of the backstretch. We mentioned the 08 having issues with grip. Might have got a little bit of a piece of that outside catch fence. Drifts out. Gets a good piece of it there. Afterwards, it looks like the 442 goes to the looking to go to the inside of the 08 as the 31 also comes up to fill that space. And unfortunately, nowhere. Yeah, 31 just couldn't see. That was just a racing incident, honestly. 442 had a gap when he made the move. The 31 filled up, trying to side draft off the 08. Unfortunately, just ended up getting hooked in the rear. Gonna have some pretty decent damage on that 31 machine, especially the rear end. It's like some right front damage as well. Not what you want to see here at Texas. But that looks like it was the extent of the damage. Only one car in need of repairs at this point. Looks like, yeah, pretty extensive right rear damage on that 31 Citizen Soldier machine. Jay Monin in 67 is going to elect to take a wave around. Devin Maines with the lead at the current moment in time. Birch has actually made up a few laps. I believe it was 13 laps down at some point. By virtue of wave rounds, made up a couple laps since then. Gotta hope for a lot more cautions to get that 031 machine back on the lead lap and in contention. Lights are, I believe the lights are off on the pace truck. I think we might go green this time around. See what happens here. We may have one to go. No, lights are off on the pace truck. We'll go green this time. Oh, Jay's going to keep it out front. He's going to lead us to the green flag here.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. Big wheel spin. Oh, my word. Big wheel spin for the 67 comes across the field. And it is absolute carnage. No one going to be happy about that. I can't quite explain that decision myself. The 67 last pit back on lap 30, so 30 lap old tires on that machine. Could not get going and ends up spinning it to the right in front of the rest of the field. We will try to get a picture of who got damaged throughout all that. I think Gary Smith got a piece of it. Let's check on the 83. It's like Nick Rossi Also getting a piece, yeah, Gary Smith. He's got some serious suspension damage on the right front of that truck. Seen it absolutely bouncing like crazy. Something definitely very broken in the front of 83, as well as significant aero damage. It's like Knapp as well. Knapp, significant left and right front damage on that truck. You can see how skewed that truck is. Look at Dotson. Dotson was right back in that mix. We'll have to see if we can get a good look at his truck as they come by this time. It's like very minor. You see a little bit of a hood buckle there for the 3, but very minor right front damage. Not sure if that's really going to affect him that much. I believe the only playoff contender implicated in that wreck. Go ahead and check through the rest of them just in case. Got Zach Miller now, front end of that 38 looking clean. The 14 clean as well. Sully in the 2 looking clean. Nadeau. So the rest of your playoff field looking to be in pretty good shape. And again, not expecting that damage on Dotson to really affect too much. Hardly anything there to speak of. It's just a little wrinkle. And obviously he doesn't think so either. Not coming down from pit service or anything like that. He's going to go ahead and send that number 3 as is. All right, lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to try this again. This time the 5 is going to lead him down to the start. With the 30, Cody Schultz was outside, followed by Nadeau and Sullivan, the 2 playoff contenders in the second row. Coming down to the Geico restart zone. Ace truck is off the track. Green is out. Maines gets a good launch out to a Q2 car length lead over second. That battle's going to be for second between Schultz and Nadeau. Nadeau going to clear easy. He's going to be on the charge for the lead. Big momentum. Huge run coming off of turn 2. Looking tight behind them. Sullivan's going to look it to the inside of Cody Schultz as well, and he's going to make that pass. Schultz possibly with some left rear damage, it looks like. Just noticing a little bit of a wrinkle on the back of that 30 truck. Might be affecting his launch here. Wow, big run from Sullivan. Look at him go to the outside of the 5 of Maines. He's going to clear him before the exit of 2. Big moment there for the 30 out back. He keeps it together. Everyone bypassing the 5. Not able to hang on this restart. 5 in the 30. Just not able to hang on at all. It's going to be Nadeau out front. Sullivan charging hard. He's closed it down to half a car length. Big speed out of this 2 this week, looking for redemption from a couple hard races the last couple weeks. Looking to show us exactly why he's here in these playoffs. Gonna get loose off of 4 here. That could mean an opportunity for Crank Bell on the 14. Nose to the inside, a little bit of a bump. Bell gets a long time, pretty shallow, or long side. Pretty shallow entry there. He might lose some momentum off the corner. Let's see if the 2 can hang on to it. That he does. Both these drivers, as they're battling side by side, both are still catching the 97. Way up in the marbles for the 2. He's going to cut back down, hopefully get that momentum off the corner. It is a dogfight and a half for first place right now. 3 cars under a blanket. Bell with the advantage here, getting a bit of a nose out front of the 2. The 2's going to come right back off the corner. He's got position to the outside of 97 now. He's going for the lead in 3 and 4. Looking just ahead of them, we got lap traffic with the 82 machine. That might play a factor in just a moment. Side by side for the lead, it's going to be the 2 of Sullivan leading that lap as we cross the stripe for lap 69. Sean Sullivan and the 2 out front at Texas Motor Speedway, the teammates of Nadeau and Bell behind. Bell looking to take advantage of that 97 as well. Thinking about making that move to the outside. 97 slides up half a lane to cut that off. Nadeau doing his best to drive out the windshield and the mirror at the same time right now, trying to cut off those advances yet again through 1 and 2. The 14's going to get a nose inside as Nadeau slides just a little bit too high and creates an opening. Easy pass for the 14. He slides on by down the backstretch, down into 3 and 4. He's on the attack, going after the 2 of Sullivan. Superb battle for the lead so far. Good heads-up driving by the 82 to stay out of the way of this battle as well. Frank Bell all over the back of that, too. He wants a piece of that lead. Ooh, just grazing the wall there, scuffing the paint just a little bit. Off of turn 2, all over the rear spoiler of that 2, trying to get him loose through 3 and 4. And that he does. Big moment there for the 2. Gives him just the amount of momentum he needs. They're side by side across the stripe. Advantage Bell into 1 and 2. Still alongside. The 2 keeping a nose to the inside of the 14. The 14's going to have that outside line momentum, though. He's going to clear the 2 for the lead now. Just a handful of laps after the restart, and we've already had several lead changes and an absolutely fantastic battle between your top 3 playoff contenders. All right, caution's out on the racetrack. I'm going to say that's for the number 30. We're going to go back and have a look at him at the time of caution. Looking once again at that left rear on that truck. You're creating a lot of downforce. That's definitely not going to mean good things for the stability of the rear end of that truck. You see these drivers already doing all they can to hang on to it. And, yeah, it just kicks loose off of 4. Counter steering, but it's just not having any of it. Losing all grip in the rear end of that 30. Just goes for a bit of a ride. Going to come take out the commitment cone on pit lane. But gets it pointed back in the right direction. Well, temporarily. See him sliding yet again, but doesn't look like he is going to end up with any further damage on that 30. Should be able to come down and get some of that repaired this time by. We don't mind single car spins. We don't like seeing the whole field wadded up as we've seen on the previous restarts. We'll take single car spins all day. All right, 14 Craig Bell. We'll see what he does. They have a last pit back on lap 57, so they're getting pretty close to their fuel window. I'm sure all these drivers definitely wishing they had a fresh set of good years as well. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 playoff contenders at the front of the field. Yellow banners throughout. There you have your entire playoff field in one picture. That's pretty nice. See Burchett back there in the 031. And the number 3 at Dotson as well. Dotson currently back in 13th spot. Gonna have a long climb ahead of him if he's looking to make up one of these positions back, as the rest of the playoff field is right here within the camera frame in 1st through 4th. And we're currently showing Dotson a couple laps down. We'll let things cycle through under caution. Sometimes our readings are a little bit off under caution as iRacing figures out the logistics of where everyone was at the time of caution and puts everyone in their proper place. "40 laps to go." Just outside the fuel window for these drivers, so expect to see another green flag cycle should we not see another caution before the finish. "14 to Bell going to lead him to the green flag. Green flag is out here on lap 77 at Texas Motor Speedway. Sullivan with a good launch as well, followed by Miller. Miller going to take over that 3rd spot from Nadeau. It is a constant cycle of yellow banners here up front. Looking behind them, Emerson, Mack, and Bissett. Sorry, Emerson. Yeah, Emerson, Mack, and Maines, sorry. 3 wide for a brief moment. They're going to settle out, though. Emerson going to take victory in that battle for the time being, but he's being chased down by Maines in that number 5. At the 442 just ahead. He's got a good head of steam coming out of 4. We'll see if he can get a look into 1 and 2. Just ahead of them, battle of the playoff drivers heating up yet again. Miller looking to the inside of the 97. 97 is going to pass. Going to go for the twofer. 97 to the outside, 3 wide off of 4. It's getting tight. Sullivan going to get past there, as well as Zach Miller. Miller drops out of that 3 wide situation. Probably gets a little bit loose on that inside. Not a whole lot of grip there. Not a lot of rubber built up off of 4. Loses a lot of momentum and loses a spot to Emerson as well. Emerson goes sailing right by the 2 as well. He's on a hard charge toward the front. 73 has got speed. Out front, still Bell by about 6 car lengths in front of the 97. 73 looking for a piece of that action early. Down to just 1 car length between him and Nadeau for 2nd place. Through 3 and 4. 73 keeping a nose inside, running half a lane lower than the 97. Right up on the tailgate of that Silverado now is Josh Emerson looking to the inside. Shallow entry in 1 and 2. Going to fade out just a little bit mid-corner, and that's going to give the momentum advantage to the 97. 97 now setting his sights forward on his teammate in the 14. We'll see if he can get a look before the 73 gets there. No shortage of excitement on these restarts whatsoever. We've had great battles all throughout. It only seems to be intensifying toward the end of this race. That is correct on your screen. Looks like Dotson currently mired 4 laps down in the standings, back in 13th position. Probably not going to see him get up in this mix before the end of the race without help from several cautions. And of course, Burchett in the 031 still 11 laps down after trouble early on. But right now our sights are set out front, and that's exactly where Emerson's sights are as well. He's going to send it to the inside of the 14 and 3 and 4. Washing up the track is Crank Bell. He's got a head of steam, and he's coming to the front alongside the 97 now. They're side by side. It's going to be Josh Emerson leading this lap. 97 coming back on the outside. We'll see if he can drag him back to him with some side drafting. Not going to happen. The 97 washes up the track, opens the door for his teammate now. The longer they battle, we see that 5, Devin Maines, back and forth spot, sneaking ever closer to this group. Well, closer, he's already there. He sends it to the inside of Nadeau, and he's looking for the 14 as well. We'll see if he can get a nose inside before turn 1. He's going to, side by side into turn 1. Maines and Bell. Looks like Maines is going to take it. Few different tire strategies throughout the field. These the top 2, Emerson and Maines, both on much fresher tires, have them come down at lap 74. Bell and Nadeau looking to pit a little bit off sequence. Both of them last came in lap 57, so they got to be getting pretty close to their fuel window as well. Expect a green flag pit stop here soon. That normal fuel window probably going to be a few laps longer with help. A little bit of help of fuel conservation thanks to those cautions. Teammates are going to continue battling out. Nadeau looking to the outside of the 14. 14 looking a lot more stable this run. Haven't seen too many big slides out of that 14 this time, despite having pretty old tires. 30-lap old tires on both of these trucks, both hanging right in there with the lead. Not losing sight of the lead by any means. So definitely doing an excellent job of driving out of both of these. Zach Miller on the same strategy as these two as well. Last came down pit lane on lap 57. Expect him to pit sometime around the same time as both of these drivers. Looks like Nadeau starting to suffer a little bit with grip for run on the outside for several laps. Miller easily going to take over that spot. Woohoo! Almost a bit of a tank slapper there for Miller. See him getting a little bit loose off of turn 2. Miller looking to the inside of Bell. Bell slides way up the racetrack in 3 this time. It's going to give Miller the advantage. Still not able to quite clear off of 4. Bell with a nose to the outside still as they come across the stripe for lap 92. Still holding strong on that outside in 3 and 4, but it looks like Miller just might be able to clear him off the corner. Creeping up on 20 laps to go now at Texas. Nadeau's going to head to pit lane. Expect these two to come down soon after. Remember, all three of these cars, Nadeau, Miller, Bell, all in the same pit cycle. Tell you, these guys not giving each other a break as they expect to pit soon. Might expect them to slow down and maybe calm down the aggression and focus on the pit stop, but they're having none of that. They're still going at it here for third. Miller going to take over that spot for now. Sean Sullivan going to hit pit lane from 8th spot. Out front, still Emerson and Maines, and it's turned into a battle. 73 and 5. Maines absolutely painting the white line through 3 and 4 that time. 73 running about a half a lane up. Using that little bit of extra momentum you get from a late entry. That just slightly wider line. Seems to be a pretty good defensive strategy for these drivers throughout the race so far. Up the track a little bit for the 73 that time. Gets it in hot in turn 3. Maines down on the bottom. He's going to make up a good bit of ground. He's going to be half a car length behind the 73 as they come across the stripe. Maines gets a nose to the inside as they head through 3 and 4. Down into 3 they go. 5 is going to clear the 73 midway through the corner. 73 is going to relinquish that battle. Not going to put up too much more of a fight. What a caution wouldn't do right now for this whole end of race strategy. A few different strategies at play. It looks like the 73 is going to come down. Last pit of lap 74, but he's going to come down and take service right now. Trying to get back kind of on cycle with the rest of the top 5 who just came in. Crank Bell in as well. Bell out on track for quite a long time. Had to have made it close to 40 laps. At least 40 laps, actually. Coming back, I believe, lap 57. Back at Kyle Nadeau, the first of the cars that pit this cycle. Running 6th currently. Teammate Crank Bell. Let's see how far ahead of Sean Sullivan he is when they cycle out. Bell still getting pace out of 2 on the apron, coming off the pit lane. Looks like Bell's still going to handily be ahead as he's entering turn 3 right now. About a 3-second advantage for Bell currently. Just a couple laps on fresh tires got Nadeau the track position he needed. That was a pretty good call there by the looks of it because he leapfrogged Josh Emerson in the pits. We saw Emerson come down just a couple laps later. But that time made up on fresh tires. Did its work, and the 97 probably going to inherit the lead after this cycle. Right now, still Devin Maines out front. Last came down lap 74. Justin Bissett, the 442, currently shown in 2nd spot. He's 16 seconds behind the leader. It's like at some point we got some damage there on the 38. Look at that. Zach Miller might have had some trouble coming down the pit lane. potentially made contact with another car. See quite a bit of that left front showing out of the bodywork of that Tundra. Not what you want to have. Sometimes a little bit of rear aero damage is fine, but you really don't want it there. That's where you need to make the most downforce. See if he's able to maintain any kind of pace with that condition. Currently down on 11th for Miller. One lap down for the rest of the field. Two cars on the lead lap right now are Baines and Bissett. Going for the absolutely longest run as possible. Probably hoping for a green or a yellow flag at this point. To be able to come down pit lane with no pressure. I think that 38's hurting. Is still not able to work his way around the 5. Who's on significantly older tires. Handley just behind, looking to unlap himself. He's third place, but he's a lap down. And if he can work his way around Miller, might have the opportunity to unlap himself. Hanley on the same strategy as the 5, so should be pretty equal terms as far as being able to pass him. Or this 38's really turning into a roadblock at the moment. Will the 5 have enough fuel to go the distance? We've seen them stretch it to about 40 laps in a pinch. Last came down lap 74. If he's got a little more in the tank from those cautions, he might be able to stretch it. Is that what he's trying to do here? He seems to be holding off the 38, so definitely doesn't seem to be in fuel-saving mode. Not really lifting off the throttle that early by the look of it. Go on board with the leader. We can have a listen. It seems to be running pretty standard laps by the sound of it. Not really lifting all that early. They are stacking up behind him, though. Look at this. 3 wide behind. He's getting split. 14 to Crank Bell's pushing the 08, saying, somebody get through here. Get past the 5. We got places to be. 14's going to hurry up and unlap himself in case there's a caution. He won't get stuck a lap down. 97 looking to do the same in a moment. Both those cars on much fresher tires, coming down at lap 92, and I believe Bell S came down on 97. But this 5 still has nearly an entire lap of track position on the rest of this field. We'll see if he's able to hang on to it. 442 Bissett, not on any fresher tires than your leader, so I doubt he's going to make up that much ground. He's gaining a little bit, because I think this 5 might be starting to think about saving a little bit of fuel here. Everyone's starting to inch their way around him slowly. You see even the 08 gets around. Miller's still behind. Not really looking to get involved in the lead battle here. Just kind of riding at the moment. He should be pretty secure where he's at. Making that top 4 in points for championship weekend next week. Will the 5 have enough fuel to make it to the end? That is the current question. Definitely looks like he's going to be stretching it to the end. Coming down to 3 to go this time by. Hanley putting the slide job on the 31 back there. Gets real loose in the process. That battle is for position. That's for the 5th place, just behind your leader. Matt gonna make it happen. The 5 gonna pit from the lead. Doesn't think he has enough to make it. Does Bassett have enough to make it? Let's check in with 442. He's a long ways back. He's still trucking though. Can he make it another 2 laps on fuel? Both drivers came down right around lap 74. Has Bassett saved enough? 2 to go now. Through 1 and 2, still going this time. Caution is out for the 82. 82 in the 22. Let's go back and have a look at what happened there. That is unfortunate timing for the 442. Incredibly unfortunate. Assuming he had the fuel to make that. All that effort completely gone. Although, I don't think he would have been able to hold off the 14 and the 97, who were coming up very quickly on that machine. Taking a look back, let's hit the replay. I am not sure what happened here. Rewind just a little bit further. 22 just comes up. For some reason, the 82 comes down. Just come together on the back stretch. 22 gets airborne and hits the hard outside wall really hard. Well, that's going to spice things up at the end, for sure. There's some drivers really happy. I'm sure that this twosome right here, very happy about that result. Everyone going to be on equal footing now, as we're going to have a green-white checkered finish here at Texas Motor Speedway. And it looks like we're going to have a battle between teammate playoff contenders up front. Aaron Mack back in contention now as well, after making that pass on TJ Handley. Handley hitting the pit lane. The Mack and Maine's a 31 and 5 behind them. Also gonna have a shot at this thing now. As we saw the last couple restarts, it could be pretty feisty. It could be anyone's race. We saw quite a few lead changes after those restarts, and expect to see the same here. Bell's got to get the launch of a lifetime here if he wants to clear his teammate and be able to hold him off here for 2 laps to finish it off. Back through your championship playoff 6. That's what I'm trying to say. Bell and Nadeau, 1st and 2nd. Down to Sean Sullivan, currently running 6th. Great day for that, too. We saw he had speed earlier. Definitely could make up a few more spots before the finish. Zach Miller hanging out in 9th spot. He's in the pits at the moment. And Jeff Dotson back in 12th. He is down to 7 laps down at this point. So it started off as a pretty good day for the three, has not ended so well. As it stands, probably going to be one of the 2 drivers getting cut from that final 4. But we're back out front right now. Crank Bell leading them to the start for the green-white checker to decide it all here at Texas Motor Speedway. Bit of a slow launch for Bell. I don't think he's going to clear the 97 before 1 and 2. He's going to have to keep it low and hope that the 97 can't get a run. Dives to the inside, clearing Nadeau by half a car length. Nadeau under fire from the 31 now. 31 of Mack to the inside of the 97. He has to check up. 97 going back at the lead now. The 5 of Devin Main slinging it around the outside. Putting up a block on the 08 of Handley. It is getting intense in a hurry. 5 pushing the 97 through, trying to get something going here as he heads to the front. Throws the 97 to the outside. It's going to be Handley making it 3 wide off the corner. Now to the outside for the lead, TJ Handley. Devin Mains to the inside, 3 wide for the lead. 14 of Bell into the 08. Both drivers keep it going. 14 definitely not going to be happy about that. Mains is going to come across and take the win at the last second. What a battle. What a finish here at Texas. 5 cars under a blanket for the lead. And the 5 comes out on top. Devin Mains and the number 5 U.S. Army Esports Chevrolet gets it done in the Lone Star State. Aaron Mack bringing it home P2. Kyle Nadeau third. Sean Sullivan gaining a couple spots, like we said, up to P4 at the finish. Great finish for the number 2. Great pace all day. Solid race. Zach Miller, another championship contender. He's down at P8. That's going to be your top 4 for the championship next week. Zach Miller, Crank Bell, Sean Sullivan, and Kyle Nadeau. But the man of the day is not in the playoffs, but he got it done regardless. Number 5, Devin Mains, takes the win on a late race, green-white checkered restart at Texas. All right, we will get interviews for you in just a moment. But right before we do, let's go back and take a look just before the checkered flag. Let's take another look at that white flag lap. We're going to go back and ride along with the 5 of Mains. We focused on the 3-wide battle behind, but let's go ahead and ride along with Devin for that last lap. This is the white flag right now. Just taking the white flag, Mains to the inside behind Bell. 97 and Nadeau to his outside. Hanley sends it to the inside. Nadeau backs out of it. Aggressive move for both these drivers. I definitely would prefer to be on the inside here. That's a good spot for him to be. 14 drifts up just a bit. They end up with contact. And that move to the inside proved to be the race winning move for Devin Maines. All right. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Devin in here for an interview. But first, let's have a word from Kyle Nadeau, our third place finisher. Kyle, it's Adam LaVox up here in the booth. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can, but you sound like you're in a tin can.
All right, give me just a moment. We seem to have some audio issues. All right, can you give me a quick test?
Yeah, you still sound like you're far away from your mic.
All right, well, we'll have to live with it. It seems like that's what we got for the moment. But stream should
Alrighty.
be able to hear you just fine, which is the important part.
Yep.
Actually, let's double check this real quick. All right. Hopefully that's a little bit better for you.
Oh, that's way better.
All right, good to hear. All right, so yeah, that was pretty intense all throughout those last series of restarts. We saw you on a bit of a different strategy from the leaders. We saw the 5 trying to make it on fuel, wasn't quite able to, had to come in early. We thought he was going to be able to stretch it, but 2 to go, he just had to come in. Then we thought the 442 was going to stretch it, and it looked like he might have been able to. They were just about, you guys were just about to take the white flag when the caution came out, and we saw you and Crank were coming up on him really, really quickly. So I'm not sure he would have been able to hold you off at that point anyway. But it was definitely going to be an interesting finish, but it got even more interesting from there because we had a caution come out on the backstretch, which probably scared you guys just a little bit. That happened just in front of the lead group, which wasn't great, but it definitely ended up being a quite interesting finish, and several restarts before that. Take us through that last restart. That was very intense. We saw a couple 3-wide instances there. I'm not sure if you backed out of it just to preserve yourself a little bit, or if you just got loose on the outside. I saw TJ kind of split that gap between you and the 5, and was able to slide up to the outside, and things just went haywire from there. But you were able to bring it home top 3 because of it. So take us through the view from your windshield those last couple laps, and what you had cooking as far as strategy throughout the day.
Well, I think the entire race, I think I made 3 passes off the track with Rex in front of me. So that was kind of eventful. um, yeah, that last restart, I knew I figured we had figured Devin when he pit, he had taken 4. They're like, no, there's no way he could take 4 and fuel. And I was like, no, he took 2. So he lined up 4th, and I'm surprised he didn't take off right off the hop. Like, um, my tires were shot just trying to race through that lap traffic when we caught them there. I got stuck behind Zach, and that kind of killed my momentum. I know I was far ahead of Crank, but I looked up and Crank's right on top of us. He gets around it, and he uh he takes off from me, and I'm like, well, you know, if these 2 pick, good luck. Congrats on your win, Crank. And then we saw Devin pit. I was like, huh? Well, maybe we're gonna get a 1-2 here. And then that caution came out. And we had to dodge the tracks on the back. I was like, oh well, we just shot ourselves in the foot. But I mean, I only lost 1 spot on that last restart. Devin gave me a shove into one. It was sticking. Then I got into the marbles and I had to lift to not take the wall down. Turns out that was a good thing because I probably would have been sideswiped going into the 3. But overall, great race. The cautions, they didn't help me. I think I had it gone green, it would have been a pretty sizable lead just the way the truck was handling. And everything. But them's the breaks, and we go on to the championship four in Homestead.
Yeah, absolutely. Congrats on your secured berth for that championship four. Definitely look forward to settling that next week. As exciting as it was today, we had yellow banners in the top four for a good portion of the race there, which was really neat to see from a spectator standpoint, and just from playoff implications in general. It'll be interesting to see how the points shake out after that. I think Miller came in second this week in points. He actually passed Crank last week. We'll see if that holds up, because I think Miller was a few spots back in like 8th or something like that. So I think it'll be really close for a second there. I think you'll obviously hold the lead for the time being. So congrats on that, holding that lead, having that advantage going into the championship round is going to be nice, and definitely have a couple extra points thrown in here and there for leading a lap. And probably, I don't know if did you have any incidents today? You're going to get that bonus point?
I had one or two because I had to jump off the track for a couple of them, so
Oh, bummer.
I lose that point. But that's all right. I think the championship four is just highest finisher, so points don't matter. And yeah, it's just looking for the four other guys and trying to beat everybody out there.
Yeah, I know everyone's default is going to be optimism going into next week. It's going to be a mile and a half with plenty of different grooves. But how you feel about Homestead? How are your odds at that track? Is it a good track for you, or is it going to be something that you're really going to have to work at?
Oh, I love Homestead. It's just like Charlotte and Texas and Atlanta here, so I think I got a good chance at Homestead. But Crank and Sean, I think Zach probably made it into. They're all super super good here, and they were all in the top five and top three at one point. So I think it'll probably go down to the wire, and I don't think really any of us have an edge over the other one.
Yeah, it was definitely close all day. We saw Sean step up in a big way, and he was mixing it up in the top four, and just came charging from about fifth up to second. I think he might even had the lead there for a minute. Um, just absolute great drive out of everyone in the playoffs contention today. That was a very exciting race, and a joy to watch. So thank you for participating, of course, and we hope to see continued success and continued intense battles like that going into Homestead next week. I'll give you the floor for a second to shout out who you'd want to shout out and everything before we bring Aaron in.
I just wanted to say hello to everybody out there. Thank you, Adam, for broadcasting tonight. I want to say hi to my girlfriend. I love you, and thank you for letting me do this. I want to say hi to my parents. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. My team, Crank, Aaron, Devin. Top three, almost the top four for Lemon Lawyer. So I think we've got team championship sewn up. Everybody for watching. Everybody for having a great race and a clean race. And yeah, I think that's everybody.
All right. Absolutely great. Thanks, Kyle, for racing with us tonight and the whole season, and good luck next week in Homestead.
Thank you.
Aaron Vox up here in the booth. Do you have me?
I got you, man. What's going on?
All right, good to hear. It's going pretty good, and pretty good for you by the look of it. I was kind of worried at the end. You got in a couple close scrapes with a couple guys. We saw some contact, and you managed to make it through to the end of the race and come home in second. What was your strategy in that end? We know everyone's strategy kind of got tossed in the dumpster toward the end. Did that help you? Did it hurt you? Your odds? You think? Take us through that last couple of restarts and what your outlook on the race was at that point.
Uh, it was kind of jumbled all the way around. I think that last caution actually kind of helped me. It brought everybody together. Unfortunately, Crank it looked like he kind of pushed up a little bit, and he created that opening.
Yeah, definitely created a little bit of an opening there, and it was I wouldn't say carnage, but it was definitely a bit of a mess after that. And you managed to take advantage of that opportunity, though. And we saw, for some reason, the three wide battles just seemed to find you all day. We look back there. Oh, there's Aaron Mack in a three wide battle with somebody yet again. So, I mean, that truck looks remarkably clean for as many little scrapes off of turn 2 as you had throughout the day. So I mean, congrats on a great day. You had a lot of speed there, especially toward the end. You kind of came out of nowhere um, and got yourself a great finish. Um,
Yeah, tire saving was the hot key in this race. It was with only the set that was came on the truck and then three in the pits. You had to save tires, and so in the first three quarters of it, you had to baby your tires, I guess, if you want to say it that way.
yeah, we saw that strategy out of a lot of people, and we also saw a few people who were just kind of laying back on the restarts, kind of trying to take it easy, and we're hoping to pick off those spots, kind of one by one as everyone else used up their stuff. Which camp did you happen to be in? Were you get everything you can get early and then trying to manage what you had left, or were you just kind of laying back, waiting for the race to come to you?
It was more of just kind of wait and see. I know I was in talking in chat with Devin and Josh and Barry, and so we were all kind of on the same strategy there. And then a couple of them kind of got caught up in a couple wrecks there. I got caught up in one myself, and I actually had a minute of damage, believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah. I thought about mentioning that, but I was questioning my own memory. I thought you had been involved in one of those wrecks earlier on, and yeah, that's pretty incredible to be able to come back from that big of a deficit with damage, and not only get back on the lead lap, but back in contention for the win. So, congrats on an awesome day, and you climbed quite a big mountain today, and still ended up in the top three. So, congrats on an awesome day. I'll
Most
give
definitely.
yeah. Um, pretty good season for you all throughout. You always seem to be up there in contention at the end, so I just want to commend you for that. That's good to see, and
Thank you.
you definitely seem to be able to overcome adversity as you proved today. How you feeling about Homestead next week?
Uh, it's Homestead. Probably not my funnest track. Definitely manageable. Um, it is what it is. It's these trucks will handle it, no doubt. And so,
Yeah, definitely should be able to keep your nose clean, and if you perform at least somewhat similar to today, I think you'll be just fine. So, is there anyone you'd like to shout out or anything before we drag Devin in here?
definitely another Lemon Lawyers 1, 2, 3. So definitely a shout out to those guys as well.
All right, absolutely. Well, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for racing with us this season. I think it's been a great first season. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have had just as much fun out there on track. It's been great to watch for all of us here on YouTube. So just thanks to you as a driver, and thanks for taking the time to interview with us.
Definitely thank you to you as well, Adam, and definitely Zach as again. So
All right, I appreciate it. That's Aaron Mack, your second place finisher. We're going to go ahead and get Devin Maines in here, your race winner. So you have a good evening, Aaron.
you as well. Appreciate it.
All right, the man at the top of the mountain, king of the Lone Star State for the evening. That's the number 5 of Devin Maines. Devin, how you doing after that win?
Good. Adam, I got me one.
Hey, that's what we like.
Yeah, doing great. My dad was watching, so that's cool. He got to see me win one.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an exciting finish to the race we had. Didn't know we saw you run out. Did you think you were gonna be able to stretch that fuel on the final run? Was that something you were going for, or did you know you were gonna have to pit?
No, when that caution came out, I thought we'd be able to make it. It was just I was going to be a lap and a half short as it ran out. And at that point, I thought, well, I'm just going to run it dry and hope for a caution because everyone was pitting behind me. And I'm pretty sure most of them had burnt all their tires up. I still had that one left for that last run. So if there was a late caution, I was going to be good to go. So that last stop, I ended up taking rights. And then as I'm coming out of the pits, the caution comes out. I'm like, oh, I'm in a good spot. Yeah, I'm coming out of the pits, and Kyle drives by. I was like, oh, well, P5 probably. And then, yep, caution comes out. I had right side tires on, was able to get a little bit. It was loose as hell though. I was fighting at that whole green, white, checkered, but I knew if I could just get underneath them, I'd be able to hold them off. But yeah, that green, white, checkered was crazy, absolutely crazy. I was fighting Aaron, and coming into one, I was like, I'm taking the bottom lifter. We're gonna die, and it worked. Like, and then ended up 3 wide. TJ was I guess he had all fours because he was coming. He was really fast on the short run. And coming into 3, I didn't go to the paint on purpose because coming to the flag, I got to make it difficult for him. And I think Crank came down a little bit, or no, TJ came down a little bit, and Crank on those old tires just couldn't make it stick, and it just didn't work out for those two, and I was able to drive off. So
Yeah, it seemed
it all
really,
worked out.
really hard to be the middle car in 3 wide. We saw pretty much every time the middle car would wash up a little bit or get loose and come down accidentally, something like that. Just very sketchy going 3 wide at any point in this race, just with how sideways and loose everyone was and how hot and slick the track was. But that was an impressive move. It was pretty fantastic to watch you guys split Crank there at the end. Pretty much you and TJ had like the exact same momentum. You just see both of you. TJ splits the middle, goes high. You split and go low. It was really cool to watch because we were watching from a side view, and you just see Crank just sliding back through the middle, meat sliding out of the sandwich. And I thought you guys were gonna have a side-by-side battle there, maybe to the line, which would have been equally cool. If it weren't for that little bit of contact.
Yeah, I think without that contact, I think TJ's gonna have the run off the top, and he would have got it for sure with that.
It would have been close. I think he was on the same fuel run as you. He came down pit road around the same time, so he either took 4 or 2 on that last caution. So he would have been pretty similar, I think, to you. But if he had 4, yeah, he definitely would have had that advantage. But being that he was up there, he had that track position, kind of makes me think he took 2, but we're not quite sure. But either way, great win. Had the position when it counted. The inside line was the place to be, and a little bit of contact gave you the opportunity you needed and drove it home. But you had speed all day. You played your cards right and seemed to take care of the tires pretty good. Throughout the day, that was everyone's go-to thing. You know, hey, we had to save tires. Hey, we had to save tires. Hey, you saved just enough. Those 2 tires at the end made the race for you. Able to get keep that little bit of track position from not taking 4, and got her done. So, congrats on the win. How you feeling about Homestead?
I'm not feeling too great about Homestead unless I can figure out how to run the top. But now with this new debris model, the marbles are going to be crazy up there. But I don't know. Lately, you almost had to stay on the bottom. The top's almost irrelevant now at Homestead, here on iRacing at least, for a long run. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm really good at saving tires, so that might be my benefit.
Hey, it'll be fun. Have Blue show you some of those dirt track secrets.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, I mean, I'm all for it. I love the championship battle, but I love a spoiler too. So I'll be looking for some of you guys to get up there and mix it up. You and Aaron, and by the way, congrats on you guys for a top 3. He mentioned that, and I'm like, oh yeah, top 3 for Lemon Lawyers, almost a top 4 for all of you, but top 3 will work too. So congrats on an awesome win. Thanks for racing with us. It's been an awesome first season. And it's kind of sad to say we're coming down to the last race already, but there'll be more to come, and hopefully we'll be back bigger and better with the racing and the stream and everything next season. So hopefully you'll be there with us too.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
Awesome to hear. Congrats on the win, Devin, and hope to see you with continued success in Homestead. So we'll see you next week. You have yourself a good night, sir.
All right, Adam. You too. Good night.
All right, that was your race winner, Devin Maines. here at Texas Motor Speedway next weekend. Final race of the playoffs. Next week's race, again, going to be sponsored by American Legion Post 23. So we'll have some good promotions and things going on there. Great to have them on board for a championship race. It's going to be a close battle between these guys. Again, your championship four for next week is going to be Kyle Nadeau, Sean Sullivan, Crank Bell, and Zach Miller. So those four are going to duke it out at Homestead Miami Speedway at 9 p.m. Eastern, right back here on Faster Horses Media YouTube channel. And we hope to see you there. But until then, we'll go ahead and shout out our one of our championship contenders, Zach Miller, for putting this all together, for bringing us on board here for this inaugural season. And it's been quite enjoyable, and I'm glad he's put forth the effort to put all this together. Much appreciated. And go ahead and check out, let's see if I can find it. There we go. Go ahead and check out his iRacing designs. And if you are in need of an iRacing paint scheme for your vehicle on the iRacing service, go ahead and hit him up. If you want to see an example of his work, you can message him, view and message him on 6.1.4_designs on Instagram, or Zach D. Miller on Trading Paints. So go ahead and check that out. He's been our sponsor throughout the season as well, which we very much appreciate. So we go ahead and wrap it up for the evening. And we hope to see you all right back here once again for our championship race, sponsored by American Legion Post 23 at Homestead Miami Speedway. But that's it for me. I've been Adam LaVox here for Faster Horses Media. And everyone, I hope you have a good evening, and we'll see y'all next week.